Bluff City Media presents the No Bluffin podcast. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, Christian Ingram and Evan Hayes. Now, let's get to the show.
Welcome back. I am Chris Ingram.
And I'm Evan Hayes.
And we are the No Bluffin podcast, man. Welcome back to another episode. We glad to be back with y'all on this Memorial Day holiday. Man, it's a lot that we got to talk about today, man. Got some great topics lined up. Appreciate everybody that's been tapping in with us, man. We've been having some great turnouts on our shows, man. Some great feedback as well. People been reaching out, just letting us know that they've been rocking with it. So we appreciate y'all, man. And hopefully we can continue to give y'all this good content, man, with everything Grizzlies that we're talking about as well. Shout out to everybody at Bluff City Media as well, man. I know I'm rambling, but yeah, it's a holiday. So it is what it is, man.
he got the grilling on the grilling on his mind. He got the pool, getting his feet in the pool. He got the chilling on his mind. I understand how to. But yeah, as Chris was saying, views were great last week. I think it was our highest rated video on not Instagram, but on Twitter and YouTube, if I'm correct. I know on YouTube for sure, but maybe on Twitter. So yeah, again, we appreciate everyone with the positive feedback, running it up, commenting, liking, sharing it. Just appreciate Bluff City Media for giving us the opportunity because we're still two fairly new faces to this game. And y'all rocking with us. So that's giving us the opportunity and the motivation to keep doing what we like to do is give y'all this content, talk about Grizz basketball. So none but flowers to all of y'all. So appreciate y'all.
Hell yeah, for sure, man. Before we do anything, as we always say, man, make sure y'all give us a follow right there. Y'all see it. Go ahead and type it in if you ain't following. Go ahead and follow the pod page on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call that, as well as tap in our personal page so you don't miss out on any updates coming from us, anything regarding the show, man. Evan, I always got to throw you a curveball. I'm never going to prep you on these, bro. I'm sorry.
Christopher. Okay, what's up, bro? What's up?
In the light, and I hope I'm not offending anybody when I say this, because this is not the idea behind what I'm about to ask you. This is just a spin off the holiday. But in the light of Memorial Day, man, I want to ask you a question about something pertaining to Grizzlies, right? So maybe not somebody, actually, I'm not even gonna say maybe not somebody that had a long tenure with the Grizzlies, right? Like not somebody that you would consider vet. We'll say that for Veterans Day. But somebody that maybe had you wish their stint with the Grizzlies was a little bit longer, right? Give me about 3 of those guys that come to mind when you think about that. Like, damn, I wish they was with the Grizzlies a little bit longer, bro. I wish I could have seen them on this team for a little while longer than what their stint was. Who would they be?
Well, I kind of knew we were going with that when you said it, but my favorite backup point guard the Grizzlies ever had was Bino Udrih. I loved Bino. When he was here, the left-hand midi jumper, he was just super solid behind Mike. So yeah, Bino Udrih, I love when Bino was. He was only here for maybe 2 seasons, I believe. If I believe 2, maybe only been 1, but I know maybe 2.
I remember that playoff run.
Yeah, Bino, he was solid. He played. He was big. Courtney Lee, I loved having Courtney Lee here. I know it's probably made mixed on people, but I just think he was a solid 3-and-D wing guard to go beside Mike. I know I'm gonna say Mike Conley because he was my favorite player. Well, he is my favorite player in Grizzlies history, so y'all can kind of get why I'm having these guys. My favorite memory of him is that live from Vince to him against Sacramento. I remember vividly watching that game. This was in all 4 when my brother and I lived in the same house. We were watching in our parents' room. We would just jump on the top of the bed and going crazy and all that. My parents were very upset at us my mother was very upset because my dad was in it too and we was going crazy and she was upset that we were all jumping the bed. So that was a very funny memory. Give me one more. I'm torn. Give me one more. I kind of wanted, I want to say Jeff Green, but he made me mad when he was here. Honestly, I can't say Chandler. I want to talk about Chandler Parks. We're not gonna do that on this show because we're not gonna spit negativity out on this platform. James Johnson. I'm gonna say James Johnson. JJ. Shout out JJ when he was here. He was here during one of those down years. We were good, but we weren't good enough to compete.
We was in the middle for sure.
He was in the middle. He was just a very solid guy. I remember him doing that self lob against the Clippers, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's crazy." I was like, "Oh, who is this guy? Why is he wilding like this? Who is James Johnson? And where did he get him from?"
Yeah,
James Johnson. He wore number 3 for us. No, I'm tripping. Wayne Ellington. Nope, scratch James Johnson. Wayne Ellington. He was.
You can have 4. That's cool.
It was that one game against the Heat. Wayne Ellington dropped like 8 threes, and I was like,
off.
"Yo, what happened?" Bro, when I say I watched that game back at least once a year because it was against the Big 3 Heat when the Big 3 were at the height of their powers, and it was always a big thing when the Big 3 came to town, and he was just yo. I was like,
man.
Dude, what happened? And then my dad always jokes like the next game he had like 2 points because he used all his makes up the game before.
Oh man,
but those are my 4. I have very fond memories of all those guys. They all helped us whether it come to playoff runs, regular season play, or just helping the Grizzly culture, So those are probably my 3 or 4. What if I want to hear yours? Who are your like unsung Grizzlies for this type of day?
Man, number 1 for me is always gonna be OJ Mayo, bro. That dude, I'm sorry, he was it. Like you talking about somebody that I followed from high school to college. You know what I'm saying? I was a huge, I played football, so I was a huge football fan. So I'm looking at, you got Reggie Bush doing the USC, doing his thing, and then you got OJ Mayo coming behind on the basketball side, doing what he does to put him back on the map. And then I think I fell asleep on draft night or something. And I remember when we had Kevin Love, and then I wake up and we got OJ Mayo, bro. I lost my mind, bro. Like
that's why I don't like him. And that's why I don't like him. He traded Kevin Love for like
hindsight 2020 though. Because if OJ Mayo turns out to be Spider, if he turns out to be Donovan Mitchell, right? Who cares what Kevin Love? And Kevin Love remains to be this chubby fat white kid that just he gets rebounds and
was 25 and 15 for 3 years, but okay.
I mean, hey,
what do I know?
He did develop into that, so I get it. But like OJ just had so much star potential, bro. His rookie year was like so exciting. I tell people, to me personally, like the newer Grizzlies fans, you won't understand this, but OJ was how y'all feel about Ja right now. That's how I felt about OJ in that time, because I was like, okay, we've never had a superstar. This dude is coming in his rookie year. I think he was second in rookie of the year voting behind D Rose. I'm like, bro, this is about to go crazy. And then you had my favorite player at the time, Rudy Gay, on the squad still. And then you add in Zebo, and then you add in TA, and
Mike and all that. Nah, but I like OJ. It's just the only reason why I don't hold like I would say OJ and Rudy to like the high standard, because they weren't here for that long, and we didn't get great until after they left. That's the only reason why I don't hold those two to high standard. Rudy Gay was my favorite player when he was here, but we made that Tayshaun Prince trade. OJ couldn't stay off the So but I'm gonna let you give you other 2. I ain't finna harp on your 2. I'm not even finna harp on your OJ. I'm just saying OJ, facts is facts, bro.
It makes me. I mean, it's fact, but 2 things can be true also. Like, who just say if Lionel didn't find a way to make Zebo and Rudy work, that we didn't go farther than what Grit and Grind went. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we'll never know. But
we'll never know,
number 2, man, I had number 2 on my brain and I lost it. So now I got to think of another number 2. Let's go with short stints. You're gonna laugh at this, but I don't give a damn. Bruno Caboclo.
What's wrong with you, bro?
I don't care. What? I don't care, bro.
Bruno,
did you watch
Caboclo?
That season? Did you watch the end of that season?
Of course I watched the end of that season.
All right, then. So if you know that my favorite player about Grizzlies all time is Rudy Gay, then you know why I was loving what I was seeing from Bruno at a time when we were sorry as hell.
We were terrible.
We were sorry. And I'm like,
we had Shevin Mack on the team. Shevin Mack was our starting point guard for a lot of
he's
season.
not on my list. He's not on my list. But bro, what I was saying from Bruno, I'm sorry. Like I was like, all right, cool. I understand the 2 years away from 2 years away thing, but like again, we in a sorry period of just sucking. But he was a bright spot for me. I'm like, okay, he may not be the starting 3, but I see where we can kind of develop this. And then, somebody we're going to talk about as our first topic of No Bluffin news decided to put him from a 3 to a center. And we really never saw dude in the NBA again after that. So, like, talk about a way that you can just screw up somebody's career. A bright spot. Like, that was that crazy.
Fizz there? Was that Fizz there? That was Fizz there, right? Was he the coach at that time?
That was coaching him when he was actually playing well?
Yeah.
I want to say it was JB. It had to be JB, right?
Yeah. It was the biggest because Fizz there was take that for data with he was still with the co-for. It was JB.
They got his ass up out of here. Yeah. And then number 3, let's see. Number 3. I'm gonna just say DeAnthony Melton.
D Melton energy. Yeah, I miss D Melton for sure.
Yeah, I would take him back tomorrow. If it popped up on our ticker that DeAnthony Melton is a Grizzly tomorrow, bro, I would not be mad at all. I just miss that dude's energy. I know they as a team miss his energy around off the court as well. I've heard some good stories about him. Just what he brought to the locker room, man. So that's probably would be my 3 just off the top like that. But OJ, I'm sorry, he's heads above everybody else as far as my just biggest disappointment of not having him here longer and seeing him flourish. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So we're gonna get it popping with the No Bluffin news. I'm going to let you pop this off because you know how I feel about it. I ain't gotta really. Yeah, if you're a fan of the show or listener supporter of the show, you know where I'm gonna probably go with it. But I'm gonna let Evan pop this first. Not last week. Tell y'all this before I even set the table. I gotta give props to my man Anthony Sang. I put this out on Twitter. I put it in our Discord, and we even talked about it offline as well. I got to give this man his props because he announced this whole Grizzlies shuffling of assistant coaches and staff. He announced this literally at the beginning of the month. Like, he was the person that broke it. And you got people in Grizz Twitter, you got people in probably NBA Twitter that just look right over it. Some people want to know a little bit more information, but outside of that, people just like, oh, okay, it's just somebody talking, whatever. The man knows what he's talking about. He has connection with the team. And just because he doesn't want to break news like a Shams or a Woj, trust me when I tell you,
he can do what he wants to. Put some
respect. He has a lot of. Come on, bro. Like in our group text, and it makes me so mad because I have to like act surprised sometimes with some of this stuff.
Yeah,
but he be sitting on information for months, and it's like to keep the integrity or keep just their relationship. Again, if he wanted to break this stuff, I know he could. It's not that he's holding information because he can't. He's not in that lane. He don't want to be in that lane right now, but. Yeah, man, put some respect on my dog's name because he literally talked about this at the beginning of the month, and now that the bigger national media is talking about this stuff, now it's a story. It's like, whatever. Just pay attention. The signs are around. But I'm going to give it to you like this. Pause. Taylor Jenkins, it was announced by John Hollinger. I don't even want to say announced, but it was reported, that Taylor Jenkins was one of 3 coaches that, is on the hot seat for next season. You got some people that's like, for what reason? Why would he be, on the hot seat coming off a season that was riddled with injuries? Evan, what's your reaction to that report? Do you think there's any validity to it? And just your overall feelings about that as a whole?
I agree with it. Or if it is true, I think it's valid. I feel like we talked about it extensively on this pod. Next year is go for broke, especially if we land the pick or once we decide what we're going to do with the pick, because whether it's trading it or taking the pick, we're going to talk about that, of course, later. This is probably our best chance of going to an NBA Finals next year. Real talk. Like, we're looking at it now. Denver is vulnerable. We thought Denver was the juggernaut, and they got boosted out. The Timberwolves are looking vulnerable because they're currently down 2-0 to the Mavs. I'm taking us against the Mavs. If the Mavs is the best, if the Mavs come out this series, I would take us against the Mavs. I just really would. Because I'm not gonna get into the pure basketball part, but if the Mavs come out, the reason why the Mavs are so good because they knock down defensively and they have 2 guys that can go better than anybody in the world, anytime in the world. And what don't the Timberwolves have? 2 guys that can go. We have maybe 3 guys.
Well, technically they do. They got Cat, bro.
Cat can't go with Kyrie and Luka, bro. I'm sorry, he can't. He can't go to the level.
That's fair. That's
Kyrie and Luka can.
That's fair.
We have potentially 3 that can go with them. We have John Morant, Desmond Bain, and you pick your choice between James Jackson Jr. and Gigi Jackson. So I think next year is our year, like wholeheartedly. If we don't make it to the West Conference Finals next year, is a disappointment. So being that, if we don't do that, Taylor Jenkins she'll be gone. Like, and you know, I'm not saying he's a terrible coach. I know you have a different mindset on that.
I don't think he's terrible.
Yeah, you don't think he's terrible, but we have a different mindset of how we feel about Taylor Jenkins.
For sure.
But if the report is true, I think it's completely valid because we have all the tools to make a deep run in the playoffs. We can't use the youth excuse anymore. We can't use the experience excuse anymore. This is our 5th year with this core. Taylor Jenkins has been here for 5 years. If everyone's healthy, why can't we go to the West Conference Finals or the NBA Finals? That's all I gotta say. So if it's true, I'm sorry, TJ. If you don't come through next year, you may need to find a job somewhere else. And it's simple.
Your ass is out of here.
Yeah, get your ass out of here. Simple as that.
Man, look. I'm gonna start with the reports of the coaching staff. Like, this is my thing. Sometimes we like. Y'all remember that? You remember that movie Bird Box, where they had to put the little things over their eyes so that if they opened their eyes and saw, they literally was about to it was over. They was gone. They was up out of here. For some reason, we had this Bird Box effect with people that we like, and it's like we not living in reality. The reality of it is that Taylor Jenkins, like you said, has been there he's going on his 6th season next year. You had 5 years. You've groomed and developed these guys, quote unquote. You know, I got my mixed feelings about that word with certain guys anyway. But you have had this team in the Western in the playoffs with a 2 seed, you know, for 2 years before this past season. Obviously, we know the injuries that riddled this last season. But now it's time to put up or shut up. Like you said, these guys ain't young no more. And I've always said that Ja Morant has basically saved or propelled Taylor Jenkins into a conversation that he probably don't deserve to be in, or maybe that he's not ready to be in. Because if look at it like this, look at the landscape of the league, right? JB Bickerstaff, which he was the successor of, goes up to Cleveland and basically had the Grizzlies of the East. He had a young, you know, almost up and coming, not superstar yet, but he was kind of on that trajectory with Darius Garland, and maybe he'll get to that once he gets into a different situation. But you got him, you got Evan Mobley, you got Jaren Jackson Jr., you got Jared Allen. He was an all-star as well. You're looking for somebody to come up on the wing, but like you had 3 pieces that you can build around and add to. And he went from having those guys as a losing team to competing in the playoffs every year. We're doing the same thing in the West, bro. And it's like, if he can be on the hot seat and basically be fired, what's different from TJ? You look at these coaches that have went to finals, won finals, went to multiple conference finals.
Coach of the years, you know.
Coach of the years.
Bro, Dwayne Casey was the coach of the year and got fired the same year. Like, come on, fam.
Thank you, bro. You got people that are losing in the first and second round because they're superstar. We ain't talking about like a high-level role player. We're talking about their superstar is injured, and they're losing and they're getting fired. But for whatever reason, because we like this guy, it's like, no, he's not on the hot seat. No, bro, I'm sorry. He is definitely on the hot seat. And it's not because of just record. It's because of in-game management. It's the biggest thing. You know, I'm sorry. Like, it's no way that you look at the team that we rolled out for those first 25 games. I don't give a damn if Ja Morant wasn't playing. You still had a starting level point guard in Marcus Smart out there that has seen finals and Eastern Conference Finals back to back his whole career. You still had Desmond Bain. You still had Jaren Jackson. You still had key role players that you should have found a way in your 5th year to make it work with these guys, and you couldn't find a way. 6-19 is just unacceptable, bro. I'm sorry. Like, I don't judge anything after that, really. But that 6-19 record stuck out like a sore thumb. There's obviously other reasons that I've talked about before. But just look around, bro. If he is having to basically be forced, like, we know the Grizzlies PR, they're gonna dress it up and say, you know, he's collaborating with the team to build out his staff and his philosophy. No, bro, he's being made to do that. They are telling him, look, bro, get your stuff together because this team is ready and primed to compete. And if it's not looking that way next year, you up out of here. So we're gonna give you another chance. Get you a better staff. He should have restructured his staff years ago. I've been saying this for years on this podcast. There's no reason why we don't have like a big name or two on that staff with him to help him get to these guys, reach them in a different way, maybe like change up the offense. We talk about the defense is always, it takes him 3 months to get his defense together before they start looking somewhat of an NBA team, an NBA defense. Every year, bro. Every year. And you're never top 5 in offense. Like, what are y'all talking about and doing? Like, we can talk about the good stuff, but we got to be clear. And okay, if we don't have, like you said, maybe 2 superstars that can go out there and take over games, we still have high level players on this team. And you need to find a way to make and maximize and let them guys flourish, bro. And if you can't do that, I'm sorry. Like, you are on the hot seat, Taylor Jenkins. I'm not going to give semantics and say, well, if it was this or that. No. If you cannot, I'm not saying win a championship, but if you can't go out there and put them guys in position and make them look like they're at least in that conversation, it's time to roll, bro.
I'm saying conference finals are bust. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how you saying. I don't know what you on that, but I'm saying we done made conference finals. He's gone. That's my take on it.
If they ain't in a game 7 in the semis,
I don't care about
like
game 7, bro.
If you losing 4-2 or you losing 4-1 in the semis, you out of here. Like, that's my thing. But if you make it to a game 7, it's a close game and you miss it. I could kind of understand it depending on the way they're playing. If it's Ja Morant, go to hell ball because he has to basically make this thing work.
Be Superman. Yeah, nah.
Yeah, no. You ain't get the job done, bro. Because you ain't even helping your best player be great. You basically leaving him out on the island to fend for himself. And I can't rock with it. Nah, I'm cool. I
feel that.
I know we went longer. That put most of the news.
People did a mini topic,
but I'm sorry, bro. Like I done heard so many. I done heard so many talking. I done heard so many talking heads this week. Like just get these semantics, bro, of why he's not. And it's like, what are we watching? We can't be watching the same thing. Like, no, like coaches get fired for less, bro. He ain't special.
In less time.
Way less time.
Brad Stevens took them to East Conference Finals, and he got moved, promoted to that boy got fired. Like, you take with Brad Stevens, the big basketball mind he is, and took his team to most of East Conference Finals, and he didn't go to the finals with them, but most of East Conference Finals, and he got promoted out of his coaching job. Come on, fam.
Hey, I said in our Discord, do not be surprised if Taylor Jenkins gets promoted. Just keep your eye out for that. If he got some type of front office job when he get up out of here, I would not be surprised. Just keep your eye on
Director of basketball operations, something like that.
No, hell no. No, you don't get out that job like that. No, they never hoop. Get him out of here. Anyway, Gigi Jackson, my favorite player of all time. I'm just playing.
Shout out Gigi.
But y'all know that's my guy. Y'all know I rock with him. I'm gonna find that clip where I literally was screaming when I found out we drafted him. I'm gonna find that and upload that to the Twitter page. But Evan, how you feeling about that, bro? That news broke right after our show aired on Monday.
Yeah, right after.
How you feel about Gigi being announced to the All-Rookie team, man?
Well deserved. I thought they was going home, honestly, and not put him on any team because he only played like half of the season. But I'm glad the NBA vote getters actually realized that on paper he was probably the second best rookie last year, or third best rookie last year. This is another tangent, but I don't like the whole Chet Holmgren type rookie thing because yes, he didn't play a game last year, but he had a whole year of NBA coaching, NBA trainers, NBA all that. You're not a rookie. Ben Simmons did the same thing. Blake Griffin did the same. But anyway,
I agree.
That's a whole nother thing. In my opinion, he was the third best rookie, including Chet Holmgren last year. And maybe kind of like Brandon Miller, but I feel like him and Brandon Miller on the same level. Like when it comes to straight up ball, I think he should have been first team. But yeah, he didn't play the whole season. So yeah, second team, well deserved. It continues the trend of we have guys already team. Ja Morant was it? Brandon Clark, Desmond Bain, and now Gigi Jackson. Jaren too. Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, Jaren. That's our fifth in the past 6 years of a guy being all-rookie team. So, great on Grizzlies' part. Well, great on our selection process, as you say that.
Yeah.
Also, shout out Gigi for the Instagram live that he was on. He was going crazy, but also he was entertaining. He was praising God. He was like 45. D-boy took me. They think I should stay in college for another year. So shout out Gigi for he was on Instagram live for maybe like 10 minutes, and it was very entertaining 10 minutes. Yeah. The only thing I didn't like that he said Jake LaRavia was busting his tail in workouts. The only thing I didn't like. Jake LaRavia for him, you gotta do it. You know you gonna be on the team next year, and Jake LaRavia not gonna be on the team. So anyway,
hey, it's playgroup LaRavia, man. Don't put some respect on playgroup.
He's a legend, bro. Playgroup LaRavia is a legend. But now well deserved. Shout out Gigi. I have nothing to say really. Just more things on more. I see him being an all-star in the next 2 to 3 years and just growing from there because I feel like he has star written all over him. And we've talked about it extensively on this channel. I know we're on the same page on that. So yeah, shout out Gigi. Keep the Instagram lives coming if you want to do it every once in a while because it's very entertaining for us. But yeah, shout out Gigi, bro. Well deserved, bro. Give you your flowers.
Yeah, that's my guy, man. I'm just excited for him, man. More so, I love to see the basketball growth and success for him. But like when you get to see the personality of somebody like that continually just be opened up like an open book, you just want to root for him as a person, bro. I'm sorry, like I don't want to see that guy losing nothing that he does. For the simple fact, like he just gives off this great energy. Yeah, he had an immature moment in college, but that don't define him as a person. And you starting to see like everybody's waking up to see like he gonna be that guy. He's super marketable. His talent is not even touched at this point. Like it's crazy where he can go on the court. And I think that when it's all said and done, even seeing that video of him with the kids with Tony Allen this past week, like I think he'll eventually be a big staple in the city because it looks like you can tell he enjoys being around kids. He a big kid himself, bro.
Like he a kid, yo. Like we and you the same age, bro. Like come on, like I understand.
Yeah, man. So I'm excited for him, man. I'm ready to see what's gonna happen coming out of this summer, and where he's gonna go. Y'all know, I'm like I said, if you listen to this podcast once before, you probably done heard my praises and how I feel about Gigi. So I won't bore y'all with doing that again. But shout out to him, man. Keep on keeping your foot on these people's neck, man. Keep doing what you got to do, Gigi. Last one, the conference final reactions, man. We are, as the recording, we got the Mavs up 2-0, and then you have the Boston Celtics, which I mean, I wish they just would have automatically just
moved.
Like what are we doing? But they are up 3-0, probably about to close it out 4-0 here in this next game or so. Reactions on the conference finals, man.
I'm not surprised on the East at all. I still think Indiana may get one game because those games have been close and they didn't have Tyrese Halliburton in the fact, but they did blow like a 20-point lead yesterday against them. So hey,
that was wild.
What can you do at that point? You're without your best player, you're up by 20. Anyway, the East, I'm not really surprised on the East. I still won't be surprised if Indiana gets maybe one game, but if they sweep them, I'm not gonna be up and honest about it. But the West has been very surprising. Like I didn't think the Timberwolves would be down 2-0 now. I thought they were gonna split the first two games at home, in my opinion. But Draymond Green, and I'm sorry, I'm agreeing with Draymond Green. I agree. I think Anxious hit a wall. I think he's gassed, bro. I think he's gassed. I think he exerted so much energy during that 50-point game 6. He's just tired, bro. And he has to guard the most shiftiest guy in the league. And he didn't do himself any favor by calling him out either.
Damn.
like you can't.
Sometimes you gotta learn when to shut up, man.
Like sometimes,
I'm just talking about it life.
Yeah, just like sometimes the best things are said when you don't say anything at all.
Shut your ass up, man.
Shut up, bro. I do still think that I still got Mavs in 7. I don't think the Timberwolves are down and out like everyone's saying. I still have Mavs in 7 because the games have been close. It took a Luka game winner and then Kyrie going off in game 1 to beat this team. And it's like the games have been convincing. So I still feel like the Mavericks are gonna. I mean the Timberwolves are gonna win both of these games in Dallas and just go back and forth. And I still got Mavs in 7. But Ant gonna have to hoop, bro. It's gonna come down to Ant because I feel like Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert is giving them what they got. I don't think they're gonna do any more, any less. I feel like they're just at their cap. And Naz Reid is hooping right now. Like Naz Reid is playing out of his mind right now. So it's interesting. It's been very entertaining. I love that Kyrie Irving is hooping. I'm biased because I like Kyrie Irving. He's my favorite player outside the Grizzlies. He's playing well. So yeah, I still got Mavs in 7. I'm still surprised how the first 2 games are going, but I still think the Timberwolves are going to get back in this series. But what about you?
Man, this shit is over, bro.
Over is crazy.
They will not make it back to Minnesota, bro.
Y'all were saying the same thing when the Denver went down 2-0, and then Denver won 3 straight. Y'all saying, oh, it's over, and then they end up winning 7. Why are y'all? We've seen this story before, bro. Why are y'all so like quick to say write the series out because people lose 2 games? Like it's happened before, bro.
I'm gonna tell you my reason why. You wanna know why? You wanna know the real reason why? I wish I had the video of Cat when Luka hit that step back 3 and Cat was whining, crying, walking off the bench. That's why they finna lose.
Yeah, he did look like.
Man, get your ass. What are you like, bro? Like, nah, bro. These folks is done. Like Kyrie is working the shit out of and I love Ant. I got nothing bad to say with Ant at all. Like that dude is a dog. He's gonna be one of the greats when it goes down. But like you said, at this point, that man on the other side, and he's in like just pure place, bro, of serenity. Kyrie, like this dude,
he just
glowing.
at peace, bro. He just at peace, fam. Like he don't got.
You think you finna mess him up on the court?
The wife at home doing good. His kids doing good. His religion is. I don't know what Kyrie is.
His spirituality is doing good. Like
he's
bro,
good.
He has to sound like a happy dad when he talk about Luka. Like
he sound like a big brother. Like it's like he was talking about Luka for like 10 minutes just about how much he means to that. That man is happy, bro. Like he has no words.
Because you know how I feel about Luka. I'm like, all right, stop saying about this positive shit about Luka, man. Damn.
Kyrie has no worry in the world right now, and
nothing, bro.
And he just hooping, bro. Like, nah, that's true fact though. That you
can't.
The
first time in his career, like he's always had some type of pressure, some type of like outside,
demons,
inside noise,
something going on,
some mess within the organization. You got LeBron, you know, him hovering up, like it's all this stuff. He has nothing over him right now, bro, but the hoop. Like, and he's doing it at a high level. Like I said last week, I picked them to come out of this series, but at this point, it's some type of divine spiritual favor over that team, I'm guessing. And Kyrie and Luka's finna bring it home, baby. So yeah, bro, I think it's over. I don't think they're gonna make it back to Minnesota.
So you think it's 4? You think Mavs are 4?
The way that they have let these games go, and you're banking on Naj Reid continually to shoot at the level that he's been shooting at. That's just, we talked about it. I think we talked about it. What was it before we got on here? We just, before the show started, like. Yeah. When shooters are shooting and adding this groove, this rhythm, it's better to bet that at some point it's going to like fall off for a little bit. Maybe not drastically, but is he gonna shoot 7 or 8 or 8 or 9 next game? No,
probably not.
And they're gonna need that
on the road too.
They gonna need that. That Mavericks crowd is gonna be jumping, bro. Like
it's gonna be rocking, bro.
And role players play best at home. You looking at Jaden Hardy, Green? What's his name? Green first name.
Josh Green.
Josh Green, like these role play, Tim Hardaway, these guys are going to come out and have great game 3 and 4s, bro, at home. Mm-hmm. So if they can't find a way to get up off their ass and Cat to be who they really are, I think the series is done, bro. And with the East, like I said, I ain't got nothing to talk about.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to Timberwolves having that killer. Like Ant has it, but Ant is gas right now. Because both of the games, they've been up by 15 plus, and they haven't been able to keep their foot on their neck and kill them. They just haven't been able to. And they've let them boys just slowly walk them down every single game. Like, it's clockwork at this point. Like, Kyrie and Luke, like, it's always like a little 2 to 5 minute run in like the end of the first half that they always get on. And then they down by 8, then they're down by 7, then they're down by 5, then they hit a 3, then they're down. And then it's just the floodgate open after that. So it's good check time for Timberwolves. It is good check time. I do honestly think it's still gonna. I think it's going 7. But hey, we will see what happens, bro. But that boy Kyrie Irving is playing the best basketball of his life right now. Okay, second best basketball. Kyrie. 2016 Kyrie is probably one of the best players of all time. Like that series, Kyrie, he was literally on another planet. And I'm not talking about Earth being flat type planet. I'm talking about like he was on a. I had to throw it in. It was a bad joke, but I had to say it. But anyway, Kyrie Irving is playing the second best basketball of his career right now, and Luka Doncic is just being Luka Doncic. So good check time, bro. We'll see what happens, bro. Unless I'm entertained, so honestly, I kind of want to see it go farther because I am entertained. But Kyrie versus Celtics final will feed families for centuries.
We talked about it last week, man. I can't wait for him to. I hate it for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But I love the story of Kyrie coming back and getting a ring on them folks. I just love that story much better. I'm sorry.
The script writers,
everything he done went through.
Yeah, the script writers writing it up right now.
You talking about the spirituality aspect of it? You talking about Jesus rose in 3 days? Shit, Kyrie rose in 3 years and went back to Boston and got a ring about them folks, man. Come on, dog.
That'd be dope. That'd be dope.
Yeah, that'd be super dope. But that's all we got for the No Bluffin news, man. Definitely some exciting stuff going on in the NBA. Oh, that's one thing I want to say that you just said. I do not want them folks to go 7 games because Boston have KP that's been resting for 5 weeks, and then you're gonna give them a couple extra days rest on top of bro. Both of them need to be sweeps so they can get equal rest because I need this to be an even matchup. But they're not winning, bro. Minnesota's going home. We'll see y'all next year, bro. We'll see y'all in the first round next year.
And the Celtics have had an easy road to this finals. Also, they've had a very easy road to the finals as well.
They have. Yeah. Well, man, we're gonna get on this first break, and on the other side of the break, I'm excited as hell, man. We got my guy, Coach Vaughn, joining us to talk about some draft stuff. Man, this dude, he does a lot of research when it comes to the draft. A lot of time spent watching film and breaking stuff down. So I'm excited to get him on to talk about some draft topics and things like that. And then we're gonna also talk a little bit of Grizz as well going into next year. So on the other side of the break, we got him joining. Y'all stay locked in, stay tuned in. We'll be right back.
An anonymous NBA team member says that having the number 1 pick in this year's draft is like essentially drafting Tobias Harris.
Wow.
Which we've both talked about Tobias Harris. I like him as a player. Man, that's kind of harsh. But I understand what he's saying. You don't want Tobias Harris as the number 1 pick in the draft.
Because you look at him and you see what can be. It's just like, just need it all. Can we get it all the time? I just want to see that more. You're talking about some people with some low numbers as being high draft picks. I mean, the draft is just a lot different than what I'm accustomed to. Like, you guys that are going to be averaging 11 points, some guys averaging 9 points. You know, these guys are your top 5 draft picks for the NBA draft.
I don't know, but good luck to him.
Yes.
Dreams will come true.
Well, we will welcome them into the NBA with open arms, especially if we can pronounce the last name.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Does anyone as a Grizzlies fan have the right to cheer for whoever they cheer for in the playoffs, especially when the Grizzlies aren't playing? Yes, right.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't give a flying deep fried shit about who you guys choose to cheer for. I don't. I honestly don't care who you choose to cheer for. When you talk about the grit and grind era, Zach Randolph was that dude to me. He was my favorite player of the era. My second favorite player of the era was Mike Conley Jr.
Right.
And I remember even in covering the team, just some really dope conversations I've had with Mike Conley. He's a super cool dude. You know what I mean? If you choose to cheer for Mike, you definitely have that right. I also have a right to not give a damn about Mike's career outside of being a Memphis Grizzly. Like, I do not care, bro. Like, when Mike Conley got traded to another team, that dude was super happy to be gone. Like, and he has that right as well. The situation that he left, I'm not mad at him for, being happy to get away from that. If he wins one, will I be happy? Will I be hating on him? No. I'll be, hey, that's dope. Mike Conley got a championship. Hey, he's been around for a long time.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, we back. Welcome back to the No Bluffin podcast, where we keep it all the way real, all the way raw, and all the way honest about everything Grizzlies, man. And I'm excited to bring on for the first time my guy, Coach Vaughn, man, from, again, draft extraordinary, great basketball mind. He is a basketball coach, man, as well. So you can always break down some what's the word I'm looking for? I lost my train of thought because I got a lightning storm over here. It's going crazy right now. But can break down just basketball, man, like no other, man. I appreciate this man's his breakdowns on Twitter and just his knowledge he speaks about on Spaces. He also has a podcast himself, and I'm not going to take too much of this done. I'm going to let him introduce himself and talk about it. But for the first time on No Bluffin, we got my guy, Coach Vaughn, man. Welcome for the first time, Vaughn.
What's up, man? What's up?
Before we get started, man, let the people know where they can find you, what you got going on, and all that good stuff.
Man, I mostly spend my time on X or Twitter most of my time, so you can find me over on X. I'm breaking down draft content. I'm also just being a person. It's not just my page to just be doing draft content, and I break down music. I give my thoughts on different things in the world. You can come give me a follow over there, but definitely the basketball is definitely the center of what I do over on social media. But yeah, mostly on X for sure.
For sure. But we're gonna start off, man, because we talked about last week where we had, a lot of this draft stuff is finally cemented in a way, I guess you could say, because we know what we're picking in the draft. At least that's where they put us. But it's just a lot that you can consider, man, number 9. So what I want to start it off with, before we even get to that, It's just what your reactions were with the draft lottery, where where the balls fell. God, pause. That's terrible. Where the lottery balls fell. And just where the Grizzlies ended up at 9, things like that. Let's just kind of just go from there, man. Where it all started.
I think of course I would have loved to have the number 1 pick. I think having the number 1 pick for the Grizzlies would have opened up a wealth of options. Because unlike most of the people in the lottery, we're one of those teams that's pretty much already cemented. Regardless of what happened this season, we're already cemented in terms of our core, in terms of what we need, in terms of the outlook, like all the future, all of those things. So I think if you get the number 1 pick in this draft, I think you take Alexander Sarr and you see what happens. But if you don't want to take him, you have multiple people with multiple lottery picks. You can trade back. You can get 2 young studs. You can see what packages you can put together with trades for other teams. So having that number 1 pick would have been an asset for us. How the board fell, I think 2 other Southwest teams really, I guess, won when it comes to the lottery. I think San Antonio is in a really good spot at 4 and 8, because if they would have been number 1, they would have been put in a position, I think, where they're drafting, players that doesn't necessarily fit seamlessly. Know what I mean? Like we like the idea of Alexander Sarr and Wemby, but like there's no guarantee that works in a basketball sense. You know what I mean? But Rob Dillingham works. Reed Shepherd work. Like those guys work, and they're right in that sweet spot to grab those guys, and they're also in that sweet spot if they wanted to trade those picks for a vet potentially, like a Jeremy Grant or whatever the case may be, to add to what Wemby got going over there. So I think they did really well. I think Houston is at 3. That's a really good spot for them at 3 as well. And then Portland has 7 and 14, which isn't a huge win, but 2 lottery picks in this draft is definitely good in terms of gaining more assets for future drafts, or potentially, just picking the player that you want. You know what I mean? It's easy to get the player that you want. 2 sweet spots in the draft. But for us, I think we actually lucked up being what we are in the draft. I think if we're anywhere above 5, which I think the only place we probably could have been was 7 or top 4. And I think if you're at 7, there's not really a huge difference between 7 and 9 to me. And if you're top 4, I think you might, if you can't find a deal, you put yourself in a position where like the value doesn't necessarily match the pick. You know what I mean? But at 9 in this draft, I think you'll have people trying to move up and get their guy. Even in a weak draft, you'll have people trying to move up and get their guy. And that's a good spot to be in as far as trade options, trading back, potentially trading for vets, adding other pieces to that trade and getting the players that you need for the future. But it's also a good spot to just take the player that you want. You know what I mean? Also a good spot to take the player that you want. So those are my thoughts on the draft. Draft lottery. I also think that the 2 teams who got the 1 and 2 pick, everybody's happy about that. Like Atlanta and the Wizards don't have a good history of picking that high. So
they probably gonna mess it up.
And it's tough, right? I think when you look at the Atlanta, it's like it's tough because it's like you can pick Zachary, you can pick Alex, you can pick those guys, but I'm not necessarily sure those guys fit well. I'm not sure.
I'm with you.
I'm not sure. And then you got the Wizards at 2, and they just need everything. And this is not the draft. This is not the draft where you're going to find that superstar type player unless you're taking a Ron Holland at number 2, which also bodes well for us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or Klingon, which also bodes well for us if you're taking that. So, that's my thought on the lottery, though, man. It's going to be interesting. I think this is the most unsure I've ever been about how the picks are going to fall in it.
Because, I mean, anybody in the top 4 could go in the top 10, you know what I'm saying, at any spot. But one thing that you said that terrifies me, right, is that San Antonio, they got Wemby. We already know what his projections are, what he's done already in his rookie year, bro. They could move off of Keldon Johnson. They can move off of Devin Vassell. They can move off of everybody else on that team if they wanted to. And you had the opportunity to lock in with him a Rob Dillingham, which would possibly be your point guard of the future. And you could still find a probably starting level wing to put next to them two guys as well with those 4 and 8 picks. Is that what it was?
4 and 8. Yeah, 4 and 8.
Bro, that is scary as hell. Because like you said, they're not like world beaters at the top, but both of them guys, both Rob Dillingham and anybody of those wings that you can find within that, at least was projected from 5 to I would say 12, because I'm including Dalton Knecht in that as well. He's kind of everywhere. Them guys with pop, bro. Oh my God! And then you got the assets you get from those other guys that are there now. They scared the shit out of me. I'll be honest with you.
And not even that. You look around the league and you see a bunch of players that like aren't on the market right now, but when this playoffs is over, there are going to be a handful of stars that you can go out there and potentially go after. And if I'm Cleveland, and I know for sure that Donovan Mitchell doesn't want to come back, and San Antonio is offering me the 4 and 8 pick, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, whatever the case may be, I'm taking that package before I take any other package. Like, you know what I mean? If I wanted to go and get DeJounte Murray from Atlanta, I could put together a package to go get him. So like the Spurs are definitely a wild card. I'm gonna be watching them very closely this summer because they can easily go from a lottery team to play-in 7th or 6th seed, depending on the players that they end up, acquiring this offseason. So yeah, they scare me the most. The Rockets kind of scare me a little bit if they can keep figuring it out with Steven Adams being in the fold and the players, the talent that they got with Ime, that could be scary as well. So I'm looking out for those two teams. The Southwest definitely got better by this lottery.
They did.
I got before we get to this, I do got one question for you, Vaughn. So you was talking about the uncertainty about this draft. Do you think the uncertainty about like where players can fall kind of like helps the Grizzlies more because it's so many guys, there's so many different options, or do you think that kind of hurts us because we don't know? Because in sports, we rather know things than we don't. Because like how the roster gonna be set up, how the pieces. Like most draft, we know who's gonna go in the top 3. We know who's not gonna be there. As Chris said, the guys going in the top 4 can go to 14 too. So do you think that helps the Grizzlies more, or do you think that hurts us more? The fact that we don't know who's gonna be there.
I think uncertainty always hurts. Because if you have an idea of how the board is going to fall, it makes it easier because this is the first thing that happens in the offseason. So based on the draft, you kind of have to build out your offseason based on the draft. So I think not knowing where players are going to go, kind of puts you in a position where what if something crazy happens, like Zach Edey or something goes number 3 overall, or maybe somebody rises, like a Jonathan Mogbo goes number 11, or like these are players that you're probably going to be targeting to a certain extent later in the draft. But like we've seen risers in the past, like we've seen Brandon Potts rise, we've seen Jalen Williams rise, like we've seen these guys rise and completely mess up an entire draft board. You know what I mean? So I think that uncertainty kind of hurts to a certain extent.
Yeah, that's it's funny you said that because I was just talking about this the other day, man. If y'all haven't seen, it was reported by Draft Express that the Grizzlies are actually targeting Devin Carter, which is Anthony Carter's assistant coach's son. And people were losing their mind because they like, why would they target a guy that's been mocked anywhere from, 16 to 22 in that range? Why would they target him at 9? Like we can trade back and get him or whatever. And I said this last week, bro, like, the pick is the pick. Like you get your pick in that slot, and you have to decide who do we value, who are we going to invest in? Because the thing is this: like those mocks are the mocks. But I use this analogy. I'm a Broncos fan, right? Before the NFL draft, bro, we were like, all right, we're getting a quarterback, and it was talks of Michael Penix and all these other quarterbacks. Well, it comes out that they picked Bo Nix at 12, and they said that behind Caleb Williams, who was number 1 to the Chicago Bears. The entire draft process, Bo Nix was their number 2 guy. They didn't care about any of those other guys. So your guy is your guy. And I think we get so caught up in online mocks that these teams that are actually in the face of these players, we don't realize like those mocks, it don't matter, bro. Like the teams had their mocks and they had the value of the guys that they had the value on. So nothing surprises me in these drafts because you drafting what you want at the end of the day.
Yeah, and Devin Carter is actually 6 on my board. Like my overall board of players, I think right now he's better than Rob and he's better than Reed. And I think long term, Rob's ceiling is insane. Yeah. So you're drafting him based on that ceiling. I think you kind of hope that Reed becomes the offensive player that Devin Carter is, with his defensive capabilities, and he can potentially be better than Devin Carter long term. But if you go and watch the film, bro, I think he's head and shoulders better than them right now. So I think the concept of what you're saying, like, definitely is the way I do things. Like, you always get the player that you want, because when you have the flexibility that we have, where you have 2 second-round picks and you have a bunch of future second-round picks and all of your draft capital, get the player that you want at 9. If another player starts free-falling that you really love, you can move back in and get that player as well. But I am definitely a proponent of getting the player you want at 9. If that is Devin Carter, go get Devin Carter. If that's Klingon, go get Klingon. If that's Edie, go get Edie. Get Connect. Holland, get Holland. Get the player that you want, because you don't get to pick in the top 10 all the time, and you don't want to keep taking swings all the time as well. So get the player you want.
Yeah, I feel that. And since we're talking about players, put your GM hat on. If you were Zach Kleiman, give your top 3 prospects and that's at 9, who you think you would try to target at 9?
If I was Zach Kleiman, obviously who I would target at 9 if I was Zach Kleiman would definitely be the 2 bigs, Edie or Klingon. I'm not really a Klingon guy, so it's Edie or bust for me. Okay. In terms of number 1 on my board is Edie or bust in terms of fitting this team. If you're not gonna get Edie, I think you get the best wing in this draft. You get somebody that has good size. Ron Holland is number 2 on my board. I really like Ron Holland. I like what he projects as. He played a lot of on-ball reps in the G League, and that's not who he's been his entire life. And he did pretty well playing on ball, but if you put him in a situation with Ja and Bane and Jaren and Gigi, I think you potentially put together something that could be devastating for other teams with Ron Holland, as well as Dalton Connect. He just fits Taylor Jenkins' system. He fits the mode of the NBA. And then I think if your idea at 9 is to get a player that makes Luke Kennard and Marcus Smart or any of those wings at the back end of the roster, I guess you could say expendable. I think you can go and get a Devin Carter as well. And that'll basically set you up to go into free agency and have the flexibility to say, hey, we have all of these players available. We're trying to get the best veteran big that we could possibly get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that. So me and Chris, we're basically Klingon guys. You say you're more high on Edie than Klingon. Why are you more high on Edie rather than Klingon?
I think mostly because of the things. Don't get me wrong. Klingon's going to be a good player, maybe even a great player in the league. But I think in regards to what the Grizzlies need, like one thing that's not basketball related is the physicality piece. Like the Grizzlies need an enforcer. Like Marcus Smart can't be your enforcer. Like he's the backup to the enforcer. You know what I mean? Like you need somebody that's physically intimidating, that is gonna go out there and bang with people, that's strong, that does the things that you need, but does it to an extent where the other team, even though he's not getting the ball, the other team is worried about that player. The screening, the boxing out and getting positioning, the rebounding, like having those type of players on the floor. We seen what worked with Steven Adams. I think Edie has the potential, and Klingon have the potential to be better than Steven Adams. But my problem with Clingan right now is he's not strong. Like I watched a lot of film of him getting his shot blocked by guards, getting moved off his spot by guards. Any type of bump that he gets knocks him off his base, and he's missing shots that should be gimmies. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas if you watch Edie, it's like you need two people on him at all times, no matter what's going on. When he's preparing to get a rebound, after he screens and he rolls, the person who's guarding, the first person gonna disappear. The first person who's guarding him, the way he rolls and he seals, they disappear. They're out of the play, basically. You know what I mean? So I think everything that Clingan does is beautiful. I like his game. I love what he is as a player. But for what the Grizzlies need, Zach Edey, bro, it's just he's the most optimal player.
I feel that, and you're changing my thinking a little bit, because I was thinking I wanted Clingan because he's just a little more skilled. But for what the Grizzlies need, we don't need that skill. You feel me? Like you don't need that guy that's gonna be super finesse and do all these other things, put the ball on the floor. We don't need that. But another thing that I was thinking about when you was talking, you sound like what the Grizzlies need right now. I know from me, I know other guys like Sane and Chris said this. We don't need a guy that like come in and just be that starting. If we do take a center, we don't need a starting center. Like we don't need a guy that's gonna come in and play 30, 35 minutes a game, 40 minutes a game. Is that kind of your mindset? Do you think we need to land this pick? So we need the guy that's going to come in, impact right away, 30 minutes a game, late playoff rotational minutes. Like, is that kind of what you want us to kind of aim for in this draft, or just kind of guy that's just kind of going to be a rotational piece that just we're going to lean on to need him for those 15, 20 spot minutes? You know, you kind of see what I'm saying with that?
Yeah. So I think even when it comes down to that, right, I think Edey is a lot more durable, has a lot more stamina, and even if you watch him, a lot more agility for real than Clingan. And I just think in this league, you're not going to have a player at center, like a true center, playing north of 30 minutes. Like it rarely happens. It's Nikolai, it's Jokic, it's Embiid. Like it rarely happens outside of that. And if they are playing that many minutes, typically you're not really that good of a team. You know, if you got a player like Zach Edey or Donovan Clingan playing north of 30 minutes, typically. You know what I mean? So I'm actually of the ilk that I want the best player, and on my board, the best player is Ron Holland. And I think you go and get Ron Holland because the big depth in this draft is so deep.
Weak. Well, it's deep. I'm tripping.
It's deep. Yeah. It's not in terms of superstar, like you were saying. In terms of superstar potential, it's weak.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But in terms of what we need, it's deep.
Yeah,
like all the way to the end of the second round, even all the way to undrafted free agents, to free agency in general. Like we're gonna be able to fix that big problem like pretty easily. So I just say take the best player. I have the sneaky suspicion that Holland is gonna go a lot higher than 9. But if he doesn't, like, it makes no sense to pass on him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I personally have Holland at the top of my board, to me personally, because I feel like that's just the type of talent you get and you figure everything else out later. Because I feel like we can get a big in the offseason. We don't have to draft a big right now. And the only reason, like, I like Clinton and I like Edey, and I'm not against taking those guys right now. The only reason why I'm kind of hesitant of taking a big, because since that's guy, 21-year-old guy into like deep playoff waters already. Like we see how Derek Lively is doing. That's a great example, but it's also a lot of guys that just aren't ready for that type of deep playoff basketball right away, you know. And you don't want to, I won't say waste a draft pick, but you don't want to use a draft pick and expect that from somebody off the bat. If he does that, great, you know, great. But the odds are saying that I think the safer pick is picking around Holland because he's such a great talent. So we can have a wing rotation of GG, if Smart's on this team, Ron Holland, Vince Williams. Like, that's a good wing rotation right there, you know?
Yeah.
They're switchable. They play good defense. They can all put the ball on the floor in their own aspects. Like, we can go out and get Andre Drummond. I'm not saying that exact, but that type of player, you know, in the offseason. Yeah. That's what I would personally say. I want to, like, if we draft an Edey or a Clingan, I'm not mad at all. But me personally, I want to run Holland. I even like someone like Cody Williams, who's Jalen Williams' little brother. I personally like him, just a guy that can just play some defense, get some rebounds, run the floor. That's the type of guys I personally want. Because I'm just a little more hesitant, like drafting a bid, because for what we need or what the ceiling of this team is championship. I'm just more hesitant of throwing a guy into the waters because I don't want Zach Edey guarding Nikola Jokic in his rookie year. You feel me?
Yeah.
I don't want him guarding Embiid his rookie year, you know?
Yeah. And you want more of those seasoned guys. I mean, because even if you don't go with the 9th pick or in the lottery, if you trade back, even if you don't go with, a big and you go with the wing, in the second round, there's a lot of bigs that are available. You might have a DeRon Holmes that falls, who's a first-round talent. DeRon Holmes might fall to the second round at your pick. Yves Missy might fall to that pick. You might even have a Khalil Ware that might fall. Like
that's
never
why
know.
I like him a lot, actually. Yeah, I like Khalil Ware. Yeah,
and even guys who are projected to go in the second round, like Ariel Hawkporty, 4-year pro, played in Lithuania, and he played in the NBL and was successful at every stop he's had. He had a torn Achilles, I think, last season. Came back healthier, better, played in the NBL championship, and they lost in a game 7 over there. I think it was game 5.
Yeah, championship game. Yeah.
Yeah, but he had like 5 points, 16 rebounds or something. Like those are the type of players that you need on the Grizzlies. Like 16 rebounds, 3 blocks, 5 points, 2 for 3 from the field, whatever the case may be, set good screens, roll. Like those are the type of guys that you need. A guy that I really like in his second potentially, and he's not a big guy, but he's a long guy. Gives me Draymond Green, Bam Adebayo type vibes, and Jonathan Mogbo. And I think what he could potentially do for this team could be dangerous as well, because he's a grab and go big.
Yeah.
He rebounds with the Kenneth Faried.
Just tenacity.
I dare say Dennis Rodman type instinct. Like he's that type of rebounder. So honestly, bro, what we need is rebounding, screening, and playmaking in terms of just being able to pass out of doubles or hit cutters and things like that from our big. And I think there's a lot of players that do that well in this draft that are not even in the first round. So I think take the best player at 9. That's my.
Yeah, and I think we're on the same boat. I wish Chris was here because Chris having technical difficulty right now. For everybody that's watching right now, Chris having technical difficulty, so he's trying to get back on right now. But me and both we're gonna keep thugging it out.
We're gonna rock out.
Yeah, but I think we're on the same page. Like I'm definitely a best player. Because there is I feel like I don't see us packaging those 2 picks in the second round and moving up in the second round, honestly. I don't see us keeping those 2 because having 3 rookies on the roster just doesn't fit in our timeline, Yeah. Because then you may have to use a 2-way contract. You may have it messes things up. You feel what I'm saying? Because we still got Scotty on the 2-way, we still got Jordan Goodwin on the 2-way. We just made Gigi a full time. But having 2 rookies in the second round that may not play, that just messes up your finances. That messes up your rotations. I personally see us packaging those 2, moving up to a 35 or 32 or 30, those high 30s.
If you attach a young player, you might be able to get into the first round. Into the first round.
Throw a Zaire Williams on that or Jake LaRavia,
or if you feeling frisky, throw a Santi on there. Depending on what you get.
Yeah, so. I see it, and that's a great point. I see us making those moves in the second round, for a second round pick, so we can and get just the best value you can, so you can draft a Khalil Ware and just have 2 first round picks, and then just rock out the rest of the season. You can figure out the offseason after that. So I think, as you said, I think it's uncertain, but I feel like it's a lot of realms that this front office can go, and I feel like that's a good thing for all Grizzlies fans out there. Because it's so many different ways to go. We could stay and draft 3 guys, or we could package all them jokers just go for a big vet and just say rock out and go. We still got a month and a half to the draft.
Yeah.
So I just think Grizzly fans right now are just all over the place about what we should and shouldn't do, and just kind of just chill and relax and just kind of just let it be, because as y'all said, we gonna want who we want. And I feel like we're still gonna get our guys regardless. With where we are in the draft, I feel like we can still get the guys that we want and not be mad at who we miss out on, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of options basically. Like there's a lot of options this offseason, and it just depends on how King Kleiman wants to, navigate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it depends on. But I know another question that he had asked was, would I keep the pick?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, would you keep it traded? Yeah, what about you on that?
And by that y'all mean trading it, like pick, trading it.
Yeah, like trade the number 9 pick for a Paul George or something. Like, of course I'm not saying Paul George, but just would you trade the pick for a player?
So no trade back.
No trade back. Just would you full on just get rid of the pick and trade it for a player?
I just think for where we're headed, I think you keep the pick regardless. If you can get a Paul George, you can take everything. Take everything. If you could get a Paul George, take everything. But in terms of trading the pick, I don't see the value in completely trading the pick based on where we're headed. You got, Ja on the max. You got Bane on the max.
Jaren up next.
You're gonna have to make some big decisions with Jaren, and the way that he's been locking in this offseason, or the way he's been talking. I'm expecting a big season from Jaren, and I think he's gonna end up locking in that max contract. So when you have 3 max players, you're going to have flexibility on your roster, and I just think taking this lottery pick, let's say it's around Holland. Now, 4 to 5 years from now, when Bane or Jaws at the end of their contract, and you have to make decisions on GG and Holland, you know what I mean? Like, and Vince, like, you have the flexibility to make decisions on those guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you trade out of a pick like that and you go get a Paul George, or a combination of, like, let's say you get Jeremy Grant and Robert Williams. Let's say it's a deal like that. Like, in 4 years, when you look up, you got 3 max players, and you don't have the pick flexibility that you had previously. Now you might have some roster construction issues based on finances and things like that. But if you have all of these young players on bargain contracts, you can always trade those young players for vets to keep the ship afloat. Or if the ship is going down, you have a bright future, like in terms of trading one of those other 3 players that are max players and getting more young assets, and then rebuilding that thing, like accelerated rebuilds. So I think in terms of the outlook for the future, this pick is too valuable to do that. You do have the pick swaps with the I think it's the Suns. We do. I think it's the Suns in Orlando.
Yeah, because we didn't get a pick swap with the Celtics, I don't think, with the Xavier Tillman trade. Or did we get a pick swap with Marcus Smart trade?
No, we gave up 2 first rounders for the Marcus Smart trade. But I think just having that flexibility is important. So I definitely wouldn't trade it. I'll be honest, I wouldn't trade it. I don't know. Yeah. How you feel about it? Would you trade it?
Like, I've gone back and forth on it. At first, I was like, complete team, trade the pick. Before the lottery happened, I was complete trade the pick, because I was like, I don't want no young guy on this team no more. We already got enough young guys. Then once he got 9, I was like, that 9th pick could have some value. Like, that we could actually get a hooper out of that, But now, like, I'm keeping the pick. I think I'm more on that side. Like, I'm like 55, keep the pick, 45, trade that junk. You feel me? Because of all the points that you said, like, you didn't say anything wrong. I just feel like we can have so much flexibility for the next 3 to 5, 6 years. Because if you trade a guy that's 28, 29, he's gonna want one more contract. Vince and GG, like, that's like 5, 6, 7, 8 guys that you're gonna all have to pay. And frankly, we're not a big market team. We just don't have that much money. And I think if you just draft if you land the pick, and of course we're talking on the assumption we're going to land the pick, and the guy turns out to be a good player, that just frees you up for a lot more stuff. And like you said, like, let's say, heaven forbid, knock on wood, the championship window just closed and we never win a championship. We can blow it up and still have 3-4 guys on the bench that we can just develop those guys, you know?
Yeah.
And I've never liked the idea of just like winning while developing, but I feel like we're in the good position to do that. Yeah. Because our top guys are young enough where you can still win with them, but we also have guys like Gigi or Ron Holland that they're young enough where they can still produce now while still learning the ropes of the NBA. So now I'm pretty much keep the pick. You feel me? The only way I say trade the pick unless we just get a deal that we can't deny. If it's for Jared Allen or Paul George or Robert Williams, like those type of guys that's like for sure gonna improve this team, do it. If it's not like a surefire deal, it's kind of shaky that we don't know what it's gonna be like, then keep that judge. You see, that's it gotta be a hit. Like if we trade it has to be a hit. Like this, we better draft like a starting caliber guy or like a 6-man type guy that's gonna come in day one, that's been proven, that's gonna propel us, put us over the hunt for a championship. If it's not that, keep it.
Yeah. I mean, I like the deals I like what you were saying in terms of deals. It would take a deal that I can't pass up on to trade that pick. Like, for instance, like what you talked about with Paul George. I like not just Robert Williams, but if they're willing to give you Robert Williams and a Jeremy Grant for like a Luke Kennard, Marcus Smart type deal and some picks, I think that makes you a championship winner easily. Yeah. You know what I mean? Easily. Yeah. In this draft, and any other draft, I might be like, no way. But in this draft specifically, depending on how the board fall, those are the type of deals that I would definitely be like, okay, cool. You know, I'll make that deal. Detroit is one of the losers in this draft.
Oh my gosh, they get hold every year, bro. They get hold every year, fam.
So you never know how desperate Detroit might get, and if Detroit is willing to give you, you know, a Durant type deal,
Durant. Oh my gosh, that would heaven sent. Do it.
Don't even waste time. Don't even waste time.
Send me that Jalen now. Like exactly. If you get Jalen there and win nigga chip, I'm like, he's literally the perfect. Bring him back home to Memphis. He's the perfect big for, and he fits the timeline for our young. Oh my gosh! Like you said, you never know. Like with these teams that have just been bottom feeders, you know, like like Atlanta, like even with who's Atlanta, like I wouldn't want Clint Capella. I don't, but Clint Capella isn't a bad option, you know.
Yeah,
like he's
declining, but he's still better than what we got.
Yeah, like if like would you want to have Alexander Sarr and Clint Capella on the same team? Like, if you're Atlanta, do you want to have that big? And then, you know, like you say, it's a lot of teams may get desperate, especially if these picks don't land the way they do. And we sit in a good spot where you can still have a lot of options. Because I said this last week, the good thing about the Grizzlies, we don't need this pick to be like surefire. We're good enough we're competing right now. All these other teams in the lottery, they're bad. We're not a bad team. We just got hurt last year. So I feel like we can use that to just propel us further because we don't need it. We have all the chips in our favor, and that's really how it is. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have all the leverage. Look like Chris locked out for the long haul, man.
Yeah, he actually said he finna FaceTime me for 931. I don't know what's gonna do with that, but I want to get to our last segment though, and Chris gonna edit and all that. But we gonna keep it short. I don't know if you've been noticed. I bet you're on Grizz Twitter. You know, you're just on Twitter. People are either saying that the media is sleeping on the Grizzlies or they ain't mentioning the Grizzlies at all. And my thing is like going to next year, people are saying like the Timberwolves and the Thunder and the Celtics, all these young cores are better than our core, but we've been gone for the past year, so we really don't know. So I feel like we're flying under the radar this year. Do you think the fact that we are flying on the radar is a good thing or a bad thing for the Grizzlies? And also, do you think that heightens or lowers our expectations going into next year?
So I had quoted one of Sane's tweets when he was talking about Anthony Edwards and how they arbitrarily, tried to hail him as the face of the league and things like that. And you've seen it done with Shea, you've seen it done with Luka, you've seen it. I just think everybody has their guy. The NBA is in a great spot because everybody has their guy. from small markets to big markets. Everybody has their young guy that they want to be the face of the league. Unfortunately, a lot of the young guys haven't been able to break through that veil and become the face of the league and win a championship. You're probably going to see it this year with either Tatum or Luka. Yeah. But for the most part, I think everybody has their guy. So whenever they have an opportunity, it's like a crabs in a barrel bucket mentality. Like whenever they have an opportunity to, to flex on another team or whatever the case may be, they're going to take the opportunity because that's fandom. You know what I mean? It may seem as if everybody has forgotten about the Grizzlies or whatever the case may be, but we got to remember, as a Grizzlies fan, a longtime Grizzlies fan, we have to remember who we are in terms of, our relationship with media coverage and things like that. Like, the only reason we were getting the media coverage that we were getting, probably more than ever, was because we were at the forefront and we were winning, and you couldn't ignore it. Like, we were brash, we were cocky, we were brash, we were in your face, we were gritty, we were exciting, flashy, different. We created a different vibe around the NBA that other people are copying. You know what I mean? So I think, for me, I don't think people have necessarily forgotten about us. I think this is just a microcosm of what happens in the playoffs when you're down to the last four. Well, you start off with 16 teams, then you're down to the last four, then one, and then the offseason happens, and all of a sudden everybody remembers every team and every player. And I think that's what's going to happen with the Grizzlies. I think once the draft happens and they see who they get in the draft and they do free agency, when we start talking about the previews for the season, you're going to see those talking heads start to mention our name again, things like that. But it's definitely a good thing for us.
For sure.
I think the spotlight got a little too bright.
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes I love the Grizzlies, but we have our two stars on this team have very they bask in the spotlight.
They do.
Like they have personalities.
They're very brash. They're very out there, very outgoing when it comes to expressing how they feel about the Grizzlies and their team, for sure.
Exactly. So I think being young and then having that spotlight and reaching that pinnacle, we were the first team to do that in this iteration of young stars in the NBA with that type of energy and personality. And so I think what happened was we just lost our way. You know what I mean? We just lost our way. We were too successful too fast. And I think now we have perspective. I think now we're older, we're more mature. We know what we need. We know what we don't need. And I think for sure people are going to be reminded of who the Grizzlies are next year. No, yeah, for sure. From jump. Like, it's not even going to take that
long. I agree, bro. Like, honestly, I feel like we flew too close to the sun too early, and we got burned.
Yeah.
Like, both the series, especially in the LA series, like, it was the whole Dylan Brooks thing with LeBron, and we got embarrassed. Like, simple as that. Yeah. We got him. The Golden State series, we were in that series. Ja got hurt, all that. But last year, we just got embarrassed. Like, I'm not last year, but the last playoff series, we just got embarrassed. So I think the whole Ja stuff is behind us. Everyone's presumably healthy, and we're in a good spot. I feel like this is a prime year for the Grizzlies to put their head down and play basketball without all the spotlight. They've given all the spotlight to the SGAs and the Anthony Elworth and Luka, especially who wins the championship this year. They got all the spotlight now. And then they gonna see on the horizon this team coming out of Memphis again, and we gonna wreak havoc. And I feel like in the greater media, that's gonna lower the expectation of what we could be. Because I feel like when every year the projections come out, I feel like they're gonna have us like a 6 or a 5 seed again next year, probably. So I feel like the ESPN when the rank, they're gonna have us as a play-in team again. But I feel like for Memphis, I feel like the expectations are championship or bust. Well, not. I think conference finals are bust.
Yeah.
And that's why I just kind of say I feel like it's a good thing that that we aren't in the spotlight, because all we can do is focus on hoop now. Like especially all our core guys, we've done all the pompous, we've done all the talking, and all that. Now it's just time to put up or shut up now. You feel me? And I feel like that's the best position to be in as a team right now. And I don't think there's any excuses next year, man. Like they sleeping, but that's the best way to be. Not a lot of high expectations outside of Memphis, and we can just roll the ball out, get this pick, get who or trade it, and we can go out and hoop, bro. And I'm excited for next year, and I feel like this is our prime position to really take that leap. Honestly,
yeah. Personality makes a big difference too.
It does.
Oh, that Chris. What's up, Chris?
Oh yeah, Chris. If y'all don't know, Chris on the phone right now. You know, he had some things going on at the crib, but he good though, y'all. He ain't died nothing like that. He just had little technical difficulties.
Hey, let me talk to him real quick. Hey, I just want to let y'all know, man. Yeah, we got a monsoon up here where I'm at, right out in Nashville. Tornado, severe thunderstorm, all that, and the power done got knocked all the way out. So that's why I jumped off. But I appreciate Evan and Vaughn for finishing it out, man. Y'all are amazing. I was able to hop back into the backstage portion, but because it started on my computer, I couldn't get back in. So I appreciate y'all, man, just kind of logging in and getting it, you know, pumping the rest of the episode out, man, for sure. But just in regards to what y'all were talking about, I don't got too much to say. The expectations are for us to win, but let them people, all these media markets, these lists and all that, let them continue to leave us off because we already know them guys going to come out with a chip on their shoulder, how they always been. So I'm excited for next year for sure.
And I agree with Chris. I think we're all on the same page. Again, we appreciate Vaughn hopping on, and of course we apologize for Chris and the monsoon going outside in Clarksville right now because, you know, everything crazy going on out there. But I appreciate Vaughn. You got anything else to shout out? Want to shout out anything else before we get out?
Nah, man. Just follow me on X. Continue to, you know, engage with me. Follow me on X at OOKVontae. OHOKVONTAE. Yeah, and come and engage with me, man. I love to talk ball. You know, I love to troll back as well. So hey, come do with me.
No, yeah, very, very smart basketball mind right here. But I've been following dude for a little minute. And just always like to talk to other intelligent people in the basketball Grizz community.
Yes.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, we went a little long, but you know, things happen when you're having good conversation. So shout out Vaughn, shout out Chris, even though Chris left me on the phone. And as always, y'all, go Grizz.
Go Grizz.